It's the 90s, it's DC, and animation is king when we take a look at these keys from DC Comics 1998 on this video from Bronzeville Comics. Hey there, comic book community. This is Jim from Bronzeville Comics, and welcome to another video. We are almost done with our DC 1990 series, 1998, and it's a thin year, to be honest with you. So we're going to look at the top 10, and we some interesting titles here, and I'll get into that a little bit more in a minute. But first, please, if you like this content, subscribe. Smash that like button. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think about these books. Do you have any of them? And also, stay tuned to the end of this video because there's some big news for this channel, and I'll let you know that at the end of the video. Let's get into this top 10 list, though, and then, of course, we have some honorable mentions. Books to keep an eye out for. Now, the comic book crash had come. And DC was really relying on Superman and Batman and a lot of the animated properties that they had as well. Because remember, DC is owned by Warner Brothers. So there's a lot of the shows on Kids WB that were both DC superhero comics and other things. DC also had Vertigo, Paradox Press, and Helix imprints that were publishing more mature content and some creator-owned content at the time as well. And we'll talk about that. But let's just jump right into this list at number 10. And we're going to go with Lobo, number 56. Now, previously on these lists, I've tried to keep it to at least 2 9.8 sales to be able to make the top 10, to have some sort of information to go on. But there weren't enough books from 1998 that DC published that have been sold in a 9.8, at least according to the data on cover price. So for a few of these, there's only one 9.8 sale that we're going to talk about, and with number 10, it's Lobo number 56. Was one of the later issues in the run. By this time, Lobo's print count was under 20,000, and I think it's become a supply and demand thing in terms of people trying to complete the Lobo series. Lobo series was only 60 issues, so it is something that collectors can complete. It's not, it's going to be less than a short box. And the one 9.8 sale for issue 56 was back in March for $133. Raw copies about $20. And the same is true of the other issues of Lobo from this era are all print runs under 20,000. They started to diminish even a little bit more as you went on. The series did end in 1999, so we'll see maybe next week if there's any more on that. Number 9 on the list, Batman number 559. Only one 9.8 sale, and that was a sale of $240. That's a complete outlier as far as I'm concerned. But I made this list because there was nothing else to put on the list. Raw books about $10 a piece. This is part of the Aftershock storyline where there was the earthquake in Gotham. The Aftershock is the aftermath where basically Gotham was cut off from the rest of the United States, and they destroyed the bridges leading into and out of Gotham. So Gotham was on their own. This was depicted in the Gotham TV series, and this was a long-running story arc in the Batman titles in 98 and into 99. Number 8 on our list, Superman Forever, number 1, one-shot, with this classic Alex Ross cover. And this was where Superman returned to the Superman that we know, and Ross depicted that so well. You know, opening the dress shirt to reveal the Superman logo. Previously, and I had honestly, until I started doing this list, completely forgotten about Superman Blue and Superman Red. So he was Superman Blue for a while, this, kind of electrical looking character, and then he split into two characters, Superman Blue and Superman Red. I kind of have banished those stories to the recesses of my mind. But he returns to being Superman, and there have been two 9.8 sales this year, a $78 sale in November and a $75 sale in February. So I think this book is more so for the Alex Ross cover. Number 7 on our list is a book that hasn't sold in a 9.8, but did sell a 9.4 in October for $60. And that is Animaniacs number 35, which is the first appearance of Freakazoid. Freakazoid had his own Saturday morning show on the Kids WB for 2 seasons. And there is some controversy around it because the comic creator Mike Allred had the character Madman, who displayed similarities, and supposedly Bruce Timm, the artist that created Freakazoid, did mention Madman as an inspiration to Allred, but Allred was a little bit upset that he never got any sort of credit for it officially, never pursued legal action. He just kind of claimed in interviews that he was disappointed, and he said, listen, I based my Madman character on a bunch of other stuff as well. So, more so I think for the fact that it was a Saturday morning cartoon, and we're seeing these 90s kids who grew up on these cartoons, much like the Marvel Star comics of Masters of the Universe and Thundercats, etc., Muppet Babies and Alf. Those books are starting to become quite pricey because they're hard to get in high grade. I think as the 90s kids get more disposable income, books like Animaniacs might be more sought after, and it'll be interesting to see if we do get a 9.8 come to market, what that would sell for. If a 9.4 sold for $60 and raw copies sell for over $60, this is a hard book to get as a raw book. I would suspect that a 9.8 would probably be over $200, which would bump it higher on this list. At number 6 on the list is Batman: The Gotham Adventures number 1. There was a sale of $100 in a CGC 9.8 in October, and a high of $125 back in March. This, I think, is the 4th series based on the Batman animated series. There's Batman Adventures, then there was Batman and Robin, Batman The Lost Something. There was like a 6-issue series, and then this one came along after that. All in the same style, all in that style that was created by the artist Bruce Timm. Keeping in the same vein, number 5 on the list is Superman Adventures number 21, the first appearance in comic books of Supergirl from the animated series. Now, the Supergirl in the animated series, who also appeared in the Justice League Unlimited TV series, is not Kara Zor-El. She is not the cousin of Superman. She has a slightly different origin. She's Kara in Z, and she is still from Argo. She survived that. Superman rescued her, brought her to Earth. She has a different look. She has, her uniform is not the traditional Supergirl uniform. So this, again, was the first appearance, the first cover appearance of this character in comics. That sells for about $135 in the CGC 9.8, the high of $175 back in September. However, recently in November, there have been CGC 9.8 sales of $363 and $300, both in November, and a CBCS 9.8 sale of $262. So I think this book is picking up some heat and probably could be bumped maybe even to number 1 on this list. At number 4 is Flash 139, which is the 3rd cameo of Black Flash. This is about a CGC 9.8. A 9.6 sold for $140. CGC 9.8 sells for about $140. A 9.6 did sell for $140 back in 2019. It's the 3rd cameo of Black Flash. Number 3 is Spectre number 62, which sells for about $150 in a CGC 9.8, about $10 raw. It's the final issue of the Spectre series, under 20,000 copies. There was a 9.8 sale of $150 in January and a 9.6 sale of $120 in April. Number 2 on the list is Flash 141, which is the first cover and first full appearance of Black Flash. That sells for about $158 in a CGC 9.8. You'll probably get it for about $10 raw. The sales, there was a $155 sale in December of last year and a $160 sale in a CGC 9.8 in May. The Black Flash character is kind of the harbinger of death for those that inhabit the Speed Force. And we did see that character make several appearances kind of as a Grim Reaper in many episodes of the Flash TV series. Number 1 on the list is Batgirl Adventures one-shot. which sells for about $246 in a CGC 9.8. It's got this cover by Bruce Timm. It's about a $40 or $50 book raw. In October, there was a $220 sale of a 9.8 in October, a $275 sale, and accepted offer on a $300 listing. And again, on eBay, when there's an accepted offer on the listing, the listed price will be crossed out, but we don't know what the accepted offer is. It could be anything lower than that. Usually it's probably somewhat close to it. If somebody's going to list something for 300, maybe you offer 200, maybe agree at 250, probably not that much lower than 250. There are exceptions though. Let's just talk briefly. I only have a couple of honorable mentions here. We talked about Lobo. Other books in this series have had 9.8 sales. Issue number 48 sold for $133 in April. Issue number 50 sold for $150 in July. And issue 55 sold for $130 in April. Batman number 550 has had one 9.8 sale of $99. And this is significant because it's the first appearance of Cameron Chase, who was kind of scheduled for a spin-off anyway. There was a short-lived 10-issue Chase series that DC published in 98 into 99, and they promoted that comic by having the character appear here in Batman 550. Cameron Chase is a member of the Department of Extranormal Operations. She has been part of the DC universe here and there since the cancellation of her solo series, and she has been seen as characters occasionally on the Supergirl TV series, but not really a featured character. And the other thing that of significance is this is the first appearance of the fifth Clayface, Cassius Payne Clayface, the son of Clayface 3, Preston Payne, and Clayface 4, Sandra Fuller. So that's that. And there's another, it's not a comic book, but it was published under DC's Paradox Press imprint in 1998. It was a 304-page graphic novel written by Max Allan Collins and illustrated by Richard Piers Rayner, no relation to Kyle, of Road to Perdition, which was developed into a feature film in 2002, directed by Sam Mendes. The film was nominated for 5 Academy Awards, including a Best Supporting Actor nomination for Paul Newman. It also starred Tom Hanks, Jennifer Jason Leigh, and a very, very well-received film. I do believe it was nominated for Best Picture. But since it's not a comic book, it's not something that's going to be slabbed in a CGC 9.8. And really, the book is very affordable on the secondary market. You can probably get it for under $20. So that's just something kind of interesting here. So that's it for DC 1998. Fairly thin year in terms of books to look for, but we do have some big news. I just was contacted. We've been going back and forth. I was contacted on Sunday from Greg from King Con. Now, if you're in the Northeast and you had the opportunity to go to the King Con convention back in September, it was a great show. It was billed as by the community, for the community, or for the community, by the, I think by the community, for the community. And, you know, there were a lot of people, Instagram, YouTube people, Pressable Defects were there, Very Gary, Erod of the New York Warriors, 3 Men in a Basement, and it was really a great show. And I just went back and forth with Greg, and I will be selling. The first time I'm going to be selling at any show, I will be selling at King Con on March 19th. So if you're in, it's going to be in Woodbridge, New Jersey, in central New Jersey. If you're anywhere near the area, it was a great show. Everybody loved it. The sellers and the buyers that I talked to were really excited about having another one in the spring. So a lot of these collections that I pulled in, I'm going to have a lot of really great high-grade books from the Silver and Bronze Age mostly. And we'll probably do a preview show as we get closer to it. It's actually going to give me a a motivation to get ready, to get all my stuff organized, get ready to sell some books. So that's really exciting. King Con in, I believe it's Woodbridge, New Jersey, March 19th. And hope to see you then. And until next time, guys, we have one more year to go in the 1990s. That'll be coming up next week. We'll have a couple more videos until then. Maybe an estate sale video. I'm hoping to hit one on Saturday. So guys, until next time, leave a comment here and enjoy your comics.